So our next presenter, all right, is somebody who we are all familiar with, and this is Mr. Mark Gregory. All right, so Mark Gregory is the owner of Darren Marley International Trading Limited, and also 4 Hour Work Week. 4 Hour Work Week. That name alone make you want to hear more, right? 4 day. 4 hour work week. 4 hour work week. 4 hour. I know we want to hear more, don't it? All right, let me not take any more time. Mark, come tell us how you achieve a 4 hour work week.
Thank you, guys. So, as you heard, I'm Mark Gregory. My wife and I, we own Marley International Trading Jamaica Limited, which is the manufacturing company for Black Stallion herbal tonic. And we have rolled most of our profits into another company that we started, which is a real estate company, and we call it 4 Hour Work Week. And a side note to that, I work 1 hour for the month. I go in once for the month for a staff meeting just because I have to have the staff meeting. Some months I don't. So that's another. So yeah, I need to. But the 4 Hour Work Week Holdings Limited, as I said, we put all of our profit into it, buying real estate, rent most of it. The holding value right now for all of our real estate is somewhere over $1 billion. Now, I have not put in $1 billion. I'm too cheap for that. Not going to spend $1 billion on $1 billion. So basically, we add value to it and allow for it to be at that value. Now, I want for you to raise your hand if you have a business idea that you think is good, brilliant even. Raise your hand. Anybody have a brilliant, anybody? All right, good. Keep your hand up. Now, keep your hand up if that idea is making you some money right now. What happened? Whoa. You heard what I said? If it's making, all right, cool. I see about 2 or 3 hands up. Excellent. Now, what's the difference between, having an idea and having a business? There is a difference. I'll get to it. I want you to look at this rock. This simple little rock. If I were to come to you and tell you that, okay, this rock is a pet, and I want for you to buy it. You can pet it, you can keep it in your home, you don't need to feed it. It's a perfect pet. It will always be there. You never look. You just keep it at home. It'll always be there. You come home, it's there. Don't need to feed it, nothing. Would you buy this from me? All right, no problem. All right, no problem. Let me go to the next slide. It's Doan. Okay. All right, thanks. Well, in 1975, there's a guy called Gary Dahl, and he created an idea. He came up with this idea that was stupid to many people. As I'm saying it to you, like, there's no way that'll make no sense. But this idea has made him millions of dollars. A single, simple, stupid-looking rock like this, he puts in a box, bore some holes. I think Greg shared about it some time ago, with some straw underneath it, and call it pet rock. And the people then buy it. People bought it. The difference between having an idea and a business is action. He took action and it made him money. A simple, mediocre, just whatever idea. Once you're putting good work in, smart, dedicated work into it. Marketing and packaging, you hear it right here. You do all that. you will have more success than the person that just sit up like the rest of you guys in the room here with brilliant ideas and do absolutely nothing about it. You follow what I'm saying? Our idea basically came, well, I'm trying to compress all of what I have to say in this 20 minutes. But our idea came because we're doing bag juice and then bottle juice. We saw, I went to my packaging place and I saw this little looking bottle. And I thought, that looked like a test tube. I could get probably energy drink and give it to Usain Bolt and let him endorse it. Didn't think about glucose, or what they call it, Gatorade. They would, of course, shut me down before I start. And I'm here thinking, that's what I'll do. I went over to a friend's house, and when we spoke to him and his wife, the wife said, no, you don't need to do that. Something for male virility is watching. And I said, what about Black Stallion? At that same point, went home that night, myself and my wife, we decided to try to figure out some things and contacted some people overseas, formulators, and within 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks, we were able to start the first batch. 2 weeks, we start to test it. And the rest is history. It's an idea, you take action, and you get the results. All right? So I'll just leave that. The first insight is to take action. Don't, just sit on your idea and hope for the best. Ideas without action, it's useless. You're not going to achieve anything that way. All right. Next insight, practice the lean startup. There's a book called Lean Startup, as you see on the screen. And what it teaches is that when you start a business, what you want to do is to make it as cheap as possible. Start the business as cheap as possible. A lot of people, they go out and they think that, I need a lot of money to start the business. And really and truly, that's not the truth. Mark Cuban says, if you think that you need to borrow money to start a business, you don't know what you're doing, and I wouldn't invest in you. You really and truly, if you are smart enough, you can start a business without borrowing or without a lot of money to begin with. Back on the same point, we really and truly started our brand, Black Stallion, with 2,000 Jamaican dollars. Lean Startup says you should start with probably $100. We didn't have $100. We started 2,000 Jamaican dollars, dege. And the only reason why, and there's a guy in here right now from PatMart, he's going to talk a little bit after this. The only reason why we had to spend so much is because they insisted that we had to print a certain amount of labels and we had to get a certain amount of bottles. And that was the reason why we did. I wanted only one box. I wanted to start with just 12 bottles and see how this thing got. Them said, no, 24 is what. All right. So we had to spend the $2,000, and I was upset. And what we did, we never had it. You know what I'm saying? We had already plowed millions of dollars into bag juice, and that's another story I'm getting into. We had to spend money to do bottle juice, and that's still another. So we're here now at the Black Stallion. I'm not sure about this thing. All right? I'm not sure about it. So I have to spell as least as possible to see if this thing even make any sense to invest in any further before, because I just don't know. So lean startup is to start your business with as low a possible amount of capital that you can start it with and see if the market takes it. You want for the market to validate your business first. And the idea that is good, which we also did in the beginning for Black Stallion, put an ad in the paper and see what's the response. If it's something that people want, they'll contact you. We did that the first week, put a little ad in the Gleaner, of all places, the Gleaner, little ad. I mean, when I say little, in the classified ads, you'd have to search with a microscope to find that ad. Nonetheless, I left, as I normally do, go to church on Sunday. I leave my phone at home. I don't like carry phone to church because when it rings in church, I feel embarrassed. So leave phone at home. And went to church, Came back home and then listened for the voicemail. My voicemail full. Small at everybody. I had about 200 calls. Everybody wanted me to say, all right, so this look like it's a little business that can go on here. Right? So we started very, very small. And then the market told us if it made sense, and then we decided to pursue it. Lean startup. All right. You must have much meat on the bone. All right. We had to learn that the hard way. When we started with the bag juice, for example, we were competing with people downtown who didn't pay water, light. They didn't rent a place. They, of course, did not pay taxes. It wasn't kosher what they were doing. I heard of and saw a person who was doing the manufacturing, mixing of the drink in bath pan downtown in a burnt out building, and it wasn't kosher at all. We had stainless steel that. We had glass. You can look through and see the entire manufacture when we came to our place, and we thought, this is going to be awesome. And of course, people came and they're like, wow, this is all great and stuff. But we didn't realize that we were actually paying people to take our back juice. Why? We thought that by selling it at the same price that they're selling downtown, we're all right, not realizing that our overheads and everything way higher than them, plus the fact that we were trying to be legitimate and make sure that we keep track of our stuff, put aside taxes and all these stuff. Our first light bill that came was greater than our revenue for the month. The first light bill. And I'm like, no, this don't make any sense. The best thing ever happened is that the cold room burned down. So, compressor burnt up, so we couldn't do what we were thinking of doing, freeze the bag and stuff. I had to be doing this now, carrying to Mr. Chin in my car. I load up my car, front of my car go up like that. I did the delivery myself and the whole works. There was nothing in it for anybody, including myself. I was literally working myself off the bone, trying to give people my back juice. And that's what we're doing. So when we reached the Black Stallion, I had already created a checklist of things that we didn't want. We didn't want a product that required freezing or cooling or anything. We didn't want something that required a whole lot of space. We didn't want it to cost ridiculous amount of money and then we only had a small profit. One of the big thing is I wanted to cost us almost nothing and I should be able to sell it for a whole lot. So me personally, I'm just saying me, because every product is different and every profit margin on a product is different. Mine, I had at the time, it's not the same way, 10 time markup. So if I did something like one of the cost might be $50 to make it, and I'm selling it for $500. Now you say, man, but that is a whole heap of money. No, man, that don't make no sense. Trust me, and I'll tell you why you want it to be as big a markup as possible. First and foremost, you have the product cost, the manufacturing cost. You have to put that back. So yes, it costs $10. You can't sell it for $10. Fine. Then, of course, you have overheads. Your rent, you have light, you have water, you have all this stuff. You have staff to pay, yourself to pay a salary also. Another big guy in there that some people don't think about is advertising. No, you'll be like, I'm not going to do any advertising. Trust me. You want to advertise your brand. I will get to that also. Then another guy who comes in and he takes his money if you don't, give him, is taxes. You want to make sure you're paying your taxes. And ultimately, you want to know that there is profit in there for you. Otherwise, you keep your money under your mattress or carry it to the bank so Mr. Anderson can feel good. All right. So you really and truly want to have meat on the bone. If you don't have meat on the bone, you are going to die. And the reason why we were able to do the second business is because we had meat on the bone. We can take our profit, put it aside, and turn it over into real estate. That real estate now is making us more money on top of that. And that's how you want to think. All right. So insight number 4, as we move along, is promote or go broke. As I said a while ago, you need to advertise. If you have a product and nobody don't know about it, nobody not going to buy it. Even if you have the absolute very best product in the world, if nobody does know anything about it, they will not be able to purchase it. When we started Black Stallion, it was, I did a little thing in the Glen and we thought that was okay. And we're, kind of moving along at a nice little pace. Now, somebody from CVM invited us, myself and Lissy at the time, we had written a book 2 years before that about marriage, and they invited us for Valentine's Day. This is 2012. They invited us to talk about the book that we wrote, which is The Marriage Thermometer. And we went there. Going there, my aunt called me and said, make sure you carry the Black Stallion. I said, no, man. Can't. People ask you to talk about marriage and think, can't talk about Black Stallion, man. And she said, carry the Black Stallion and plug it. I'm like, all right, I carried one single bottle, put it in my pocket. I had no preparation. I had no plan to really talk about it. I just trying to follow her instructions and say, So I went there, and the manager, I talk, and I said, okay, I have this product. You think I can probably plug it? And I was like, okay. When they started the interview, they said, these are guys who wrote the Marriage Thermometer, and they also did the Black Stallion. And the entire time they spoke about the Black Stallion. And I'm like, okay. So I went to work and think, no problem. And by the evening, when this is Wayne Lewis from CVM called me up and said, Mark, say you need to put an ad on the TV. I said, yeah, idiot, what? Me can't afford ad on TV. You leave me alone, yeah, man. He said, you know how much people them call asking about your product, and we don't even know where to tell them what number, where to go. What you need an ad. And I said, well, that is all well and good number. I can't afford no ad because I don't have that kind of money. I know what kind of money it takes to put an ad on TV. He says, all right, tell you what, I'm going to take a chance with you. I said, okay. He said, make an ad and we'll put it on the TV for you for free for the first month. After that, you pay. If it don't work, you don't have to pay me. I said, all right, no problem. You say it in about so, all right. And he did just that. And let me tell you, all right, let's just say that we did a whole lot more. 10, 20, 30 times what we were making. And I was like, eye-open. So ever since then, we have been putting ads on TV and, of course, in the Star and all these different places. We recognize the fact that it's so important to advertise and promote. And I'll tell you something, in 2016, May, halfway through May, I realized that the sales just wasn't as good as it normally is. And I'm like, what is happening? No, I have the TV ad on. And I checked. I realized, the Star ad was, I thought it would have finished. I would normally pay for the Star ad for 3 months at a time. Every day in the Star, the smallest beanie weenie is like a postage stamp of an ad in the Star, the smallest little ad they have. And it was missing. It was supposed to finish, I thought it would have been at the end of May. And this is at the beginning of May, end of April, they stopped. And nobody no called, nobody no say nothing, nobody no let me know, say, hey, you don't have this. And the sale went down by 50%. You see, 2 days after we put the Star ad back in, sales started to climb back again. I'm like, you mean to God say one liquor beanie weenie liquor ad like this could have done such a damage? I say, hello. So now I watch my ads like crazy, right? I watch it. We pay about $1 million a month for advertisement because that is how we make our money. If I ever stop putting ads in the Star on TV and things, so no matter how good your product is, you need to promote. All right, I'll move on or you go broke. Next insight, grow your business before yourself. This is one of the worst things that I think we as Jamaicans, we have a big problem with. The moment you invest, you start to see any money coming, oh, I'm going to buy a big car, I'm going to forget. And that's not the way to do it. You can't do that. I remember when we started, not just Blackstar, even the juices. We lived in a small 300 square foot studio. And we lived there for years. We left, I think, in 2015 when we left that apartment. And we could have moved long before that, but we said, listen, every money that we got, we're putting it back in the business. You want to make sure that you reinvest in the business and build it up. Just like you wouldn't plant a tree and as soon as the seeds start to come up, you start tear it down and try to cook whatever. You allow it to grow. And when it grow and can sustain you, then that's the time you start to take fruits off a tree. You don't take it when it, just a little baby tree coming up. You want to make sure so it's well strong and has good roots and it's now able to sustain, itself. You do that. All right. So, next one, insight number 6. You must be flexible and ready to pivot. A cousin of mine, said to me in a message, a WhatsApp message, said, "Ma, everything you touch turn to go." I said, You, cousin, obviously don't know me or my story. First and foremost, I had a recording studio. Had to move on from that. I did the box juice. I did the box juice with Surge Island, and they made it for me, and I got some people to say, I had to move on from that. Alicia cried because that was our first official baby. I mean, when you say we created something from a thought, an idea, some business idea, and we actually brought it forward, and then we had to sell the brand. Painful. Then we decided to go into bag juice. Lost 2 fingers to the bag juice. Then we did the bottle. And then after the bottle, we realized, okay, we're just barely breaking even. And then we did the Black Stallion. Thank God for that. And then from Black Stallion, we've done the real estate. And come September, I'm just going to be focusing on the real estate alone. We're leaving the Black Stallion alone. It's just real estate I'm going to be doing. Pivot. So if you're doing something and you realize that one, there's something better, or it's not working, or when you weigh it, you realize that this does not make much sense anymore, it's best if you pivot and move in another direction. While we're doing the juices and we started the Black Stallion, I realized one particular day, this is something, it was so very, obvious to me. I saw the sales, all the juices that we're doing, both in bag, in bottle, and we had 6 different flavors. We had 3 different sizes and all that jazz, and we're doing 5% of the sales in the juice, 95% in the Black Stallion. It was as clear as day. And then the juices took about 80% of our resources. And what was making us all the money didn't take much at all. It's not rocket science. And I told Lisa, we're going to close down Footlicious. That was the name of the brand at the time. We're going to close down Footlicious, focus on the Black Stallion. She's like, what? I say, trust me. And then, of course, after she thanked me. But you have to be able to pivot. Learn and see exactly what's working, what's not working. What worked good for a time might not work this time. And you have to look and say, all right, you know what? This is not working. Let me look in another direction. Pivot and go somewhere else. Pivot. No, this one here. A friend of mine, Mark Bailey, said to me once, I want to pay $3 million in GCT. I'm like, what? What? You lick your head now? He said, Why would I want? Let me ask you. So I'm saying, I want to pay $15 million in GCT. My GCT is every month, you pay every month. It's not like at the end of the year. This is every month, right? I personally, myself, and I, Mark Gregory, want to pay $15 million in GCT. Believe me. Why would I want to pay $15 million in GCT? Whatever. Fleur, good. Yeah, man, that's why she have the master's and PhD on her. All right, so yeah, I realized that if I'm paying $15 million in GCT, that means I'm making $100 million. Why would I complain about the 15 me have to sell if I'm going to make $100 million? Really, I'm not that greedy. See what I'm saying? But a lot of times we think that, oh, that's a lot of money. We don't want to. Don't work on that. Don't focus on that.
Yeah.
And this is per month, by the way. Right? That's how different. Pay to Caesar what due to Caesar. I mean, the GCT is not yours to begin with, right? Yeah. It's not yours. Give it over to him. And focus on what you get. Don't look at what you're giving the other man. Focus on what you're getting. And you'll do fine. And you want, I mean, I understand I don't like paying taxes if I don't have to. But you don't want to evade tax. You want to legally avoid it. There are lots and lots of laws set up for taxes and benefits. So they might say, all right, when you have real estate, you can depreciate part of it, and that goes against your income that you make from the rentals. I'm like, okay. So last year, as much as we made good money, we paid almost nothing in that because the government allows us to do that, right? So, but I love to pay the GCT because I know, when I pay $15 million in GCT, if I ever pay $15 million in GCT, I know what I'm making. Moving on. Insight number 8. The rich don't work for money. Money work for them. Now, let me tell you something. I learned this lesson. This is 1994, summer 1994. Just finished UTech cast. And I was living over by Harborview. And every morning I'd go by the beach and have my quiet time over there. And I'd see this young guy. He was in his 40s, early 40s probably. And he had 2 sons on the beach with him every day. I'm like, this man don't work or what, man? So I said, curiosity get a better off you. So I had to go and ask him, like, all right, dude, sorry, I just had to ask, what do you do for a living? Why every day I see you out here and I'm on summer break? And really and truly, I know why I'm here. But you have family. Why you're here every day with it? How? What? And the guy explained to me, he said, I used to be an attorney. I said, okay, well, I know you make good money there. All right, fine. He said, and I saved up enough and invested it, and the investments basically paying me more than what I used to make as an attorney. I'm like, something can really go so? That's my first introduction to the concept. And this guy made it very clear to me, and I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to do. So I said to my mother-in-law, she's right here now, I told her, I plan to retire at 40. And she was like, you're right. I said that to her. And since 2013 that I had turned 40. And since then, as I said, we have the 4-hour work week. I go in now for a 1-hour meeting. It's just because, and even though I'm supposed to, there are months, literally months, that I don't see our business place. They don't see me. We travel a lot. Anybody who knows me, that's my passion. I've been 101 countries already, traveled at 5 months around the world, 28 countries in one go, going in one direction, do it 4 times already. And I'm not there, all right? So I'm living a life of a retiree, if you will, but still at the same time, I'm involved in my business and it's doing. Rich people don't really work for money. They find a way to make money work for them. And that lines up with the next point, because it's about freedom. Wealth is about freedom. A lot of people think that wealth is about having a lot of money. It's not. If you have absolutely no money right now in your pocket, but you have enough money coming in each month, while you're sleeping, while you're awake, whatever, whether or not you're doing anything, it's still coming in. That is what wealth is. And especially if you're able to not spend all of it in one go. Yeah, a person might be making $1 million a month and he's spending $1 million and $1,001, and he is in hell. Another person is making $60,000 a month. I'll tell you about a friend of mine. This is Karen. She used to do the cleaning at the office that I worked at. And Karen, she probably made about $60,000 for the month. And what she was doing just blew my mind, because even though she only earned that, she's probably saving $30,000 to $40,000 out of her salary each month. And I'm like, how on earth? And a single mother, and she has 2 kids, and she's just amazing. So what she do is she go downtown, and when she goes downtown, going home, she stop at the wholesale stores, and she see a shirt or a blouse or a skirt or pants or whatever, and she likes it, and she say, buy it wholesale, buy 3 of them, carry it home. So say 3 shirts, $3,000. This is years ago. 3 shirts, $3,000, and she carries it home. She keeps one for herself, and her friends see it, and like that shirt. I say, yeah, problem. Yeah, $1,500 on. She make back her $3,000, and she still have the shirt. Yeah. So she hasn't spent any of her money, really. You know what I'm saying? So by thinking like this, she's able to provide for herself, her family, and she have some money saved up, put taxes on the road, and she better off than men in my office at the time. You follow what I'm saying? So really and truly, you can be wealthy, right, without having officially a lot of money. If your lifestyle allows it, you can have what you're earning, take care of, and it might be, yes, you might be working first and doing your 9-to-5 job, but think of ways how you can put back some money into something that will make money for you without you having to work for it. So again, wealth is wisdom, is freedom. Insight number 9, you can't receive with a clenched fist. Now, as a church, this is, you understand this concept. You have to be generous. You have your fist like this and you're trying to get something from somebody. I beg you some money and you do this. Will you ever get it? Will you ever be able to take it? You can't. You have to open your hand up in order to receive it. Yet, sometimes that's how we think. We have to hold on to what little we have. And by holding on to what little you have, hoping to get more, you can't get any more, because really and truly, this is all you're doing. All right? And Mark Bailey, a friend of mine, again, he taught me this. He says, money does not change you. It only amplifies what's inside of you. So if you are a stingy person, you say, when you get more money, we're going to do, hold on to it even higher. While if you're a generous person, you give out more. And he taught me that years ago. I was like, oh my God, that is so good. And I never forget it. And so that's the reason why for us, we try to be generous. Now, my wife is at a different level altogether. If me allow her, she give me all my money. I'm like, Alicia, sometimes she come, even when we go to the supermarket, and me see what she tip the guys, them who carry the little box. I'm like, you mad, man? Serious? I said, don't worry, Mark, it will come back to us. I'm like, all right. But it does, it does. And she constantly reminds me of this. And she comes from a very generous family, and they love to give. It blows my mind how generous they are. And I appreciate that. And God bless me with that woman, I tell you. All right. So you can't receive with a clenched fist. Work on your business, not in your business. As I explained to you, I work 1 hour, supposed to work 1 hour a month, having a staff meeting with my fellows. But you want to be at a place, and this is how you need to start. You need to start it thinking. If you take a job, if you take a business, and your concept is you're going to be there micromanaging and running it and doing all this stuff, you have not really gotten a business. What you have gotten is a glorified job. And now, instead of having one boss, you have 50 bosses, because all of your customers are your bosses. All right? And what you want to do is to be able to take yourself outside. And I remember, this is 2013 again, we went on our first vacation since we started the business. We did not take a salary. We did not take anything at all. We just basically plowed back all the money in it and stuff. And we created systems to run the business so that we don't have to be there. We checked it out in March in 2013, stepped away for 1 week, went on a cruise, and I was like worried. And came back, and these guys actually did better job when we were away than when we were there micromanaging them. And I'm like, I came back, I was like, whatever una do, una continue do it, please. I'm not going to mess with you, or what, just continue doing what you're doing. And a lot of the times, people get their confidence when they realize that, okay, they have some amount of autonomy. They can, take care of things themselves. They don't need to, boss, what I should do. No. Allow for them. You give them the instruction. You give them all that they need to do their work. But allow them to, do the stuff that they can do. All right? And so you now can focus on the things that will make the money. I focus on marketing, advertising. I create, different videos and stuff. And that's what I did. And so I can do that at home on a computer. I don't need to be at the workplace. So, all right, final insight. God is my CEO. All right. Now, I heard Chuck Swindoll share the story once, and he says, there's two friends. They had this business. One became a Christian, one didn't. And one day the business started burn down. So, of course, the non-Christian friend called up the other one and said, well, please, burn down, come meet me down there. And two of them got down there. The Christian one had an ice cream in his hand, just licking and just watching the whole place burn down. The other one said, what, you said the place burn down, how you can't be eating ice cream? What? Come on now. And he said, oh, you don't understand. He said, 2 weeks ago I became a Christian. I gave my business, my part of the business to God. So, if God decided to burn down his business, who am I to complain to him? Now I know it sounds very, funny. But when I heard that, I was like, that makes so much sense. I don't need to stress myself out over the business and where it's going and stuff. If God is the one who's in control of it, then what if he decides to go? I know he always has a better plan than I do. Yeah. If he decides to go this way, who am I to argue with him if he wants to go that way? It's his business. But if I think of it as my business, I can stress about it and I have to do everything and everything that you don't need that. Let God be your CEO. You listen to his instruction and work. I remember this guy closed with this. When we were doing the bag juice, and I kid you not, when we made the vat, the big drum of juice, me personally, I taste that thing, I like it one bit. People come and say, oh, it's the best. Oh my God, this. I'm like, someone suddenly says, you know what? When me finish mixing up, God must dip his finger in it or something, because I know what this thing is, and this is nothing good. But people just felt like it was so awesome. And I believe that by making God my CEO, he made our business successful. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.